You operate under a really profound illusion. You truly believe that the life you've built, all the routines, the steady paycheck, the so-called predictability, you think it's a fortress protecting you from chaos. But here's the truth. That fortress is made of glass. And worse, it was designed that way. It was built to keep you comfortable, to keep you compliant, and to keep you completely exposed. And every single day you reinforce its walls, you're just participating in your own entrapment. So let's get right to it. You've been taught your whole life to trade your time for security, right? That's the deal. It's the central bargain of our modern world. But what if that security is a complete myth? What if the path you think is safe is actually a tightrope stretched over a massive canyon with no safety net below? Well, here at Unspoken Rules, we don't do comfort. We deal in the harsh psychological truths that are running your life whether you see them or not. And today, we're going to completely dismantle the great lie of modern work. I need to be perfectly clear about this. That thing you call a career, that one single source of income that you depend on for your mortgage, your food, your entire existence, it is not a safety net. It's a single thread. And in an economy that's built on disruption, on automation, on mass layoffs, that thread is being stretched to its absolute breaking point. The very system that was designed to give you peace of mind is actually engineered to maximize your vulnerability. Let this sink in. Just absorb this for a second. Your loyalty, it's just a line item on a budget that can be erased in a heartbeat. Your years of service are what they call a sunk cost, totally irrelevant to the next quarterly report. See, the relationship is purely transactional. To believe anything else is to willfully blind yourself to the fundamental nature of the system. Your financial stability is 100% in the hands of an entity that is legally obligated to put its own survival before yours. You're not a partner, you're a resource. And resources, well, they're always expendable. So, let's dive into the core of the problem, shall we? Because this prison, it isn't just structural, it's psychological. The most effective cages are always the ones we build for ourselves. And this system, it gives you all the materials you need. It's designed to exploit predictable flaws in our human brains to keep you right where you are, totally dependent and totally afraid. And this is the big question, isn't it? You're smart. You see the headlines about layoffs. You feel that knot in your stomach living paycheck to paycheck. So, why don't you act? Why do and millions of other intelligent people keep walking that same tightrope every single day? It's not because you're weak. Let's get that straight. It's because you've been psychologically conditioned to prefer the familiar risk of the cage to the terrifying, unknown freedom that lies outside of it. Okay, let's break down the first mechanism at play here, loss aversion. Some incredible research by psychologists Kahneman and Tversky uncovered a startling truth about our minds. The pain of losing something, it feels about twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining the exact same thing. So that secure paycheck? The fear of losing it is a psychological force so powerful, it completely crushes the potential joy of earning more, of building something new. The system uses this glitch in your brain against you, framing any change as a massive loss, paralyzing you from taking the very risks that could lead to genuine freedom. And then we have the second mechanism. In the US system, this is the big one. It's the golden handcuff, job lock. By tying your access to healthcare, your actual physical survival to a specific employer, the system turns a job from a simple economic choice into a biological necessity. Think about that. Leaving your job isn't just about losing income. It means potentially losing care for yourself, for your family. It's a brilliantly designed trap. And look, this is not some fringe issue affecting a few people. One in six American workers admit they are trapped in jobs they absolutely want to leave just to keep their health insurance. We're talking about millions of people sacrificing their ambition, their well-being, their potential, all for a benefit that should never have been tied to a single employer in the first place. The sheer scale of this dependency is just staggering. Finally, we have to talk about the most insidious mechanism of them all, learned helplessness. That constant pressure you feel, the lack of autonomy, the feeling that nothing you do really matters. Those are not just bad days at the office, no. They are conditioning agents. When you repeatedly face stress you can't control, your brain literally learns that fighting back is pointless. It creates this state of apathy and passivity. So the mental energy you would need to plan your escape, it's already been burned just trying to survive the day. You're simply too drained by the cage to even look for the key. So listen to me. This is the crucial point. Your inability to act is not a character flaw. It is a programmed response. Loss aversion, job lock, learned helplessness, These are the invisible bars of a psychological prison, and it was designed to ensure a steady, compliant workforce. And you know what? Recognizing this, truly seeing the bars for what they are, is the very first step to dismantling it. Okay, so now let's flip the script. Let's move to the other side of this reality. Because while most people are trapped in the psychology of dependency, the wealthy are operating under a completely different set of rules. They are not looking for security from a single source. No, they are engineering resilience through a system of their own design. This right here, this reveals a fundamental shift in mindset. It's night and day. The employee stands on a single pillar, terrified of failure, because failure means losing everything. The resilient architect, on the other hand, fully expects some things to fail. They build a system where the failure of any one component, one income stream, one investment, is basically a non-event. They don't try to avoid risk, they manage it through diversification. And the data, it absolutely confirms this. Just look at how the wealthy generate their income. Sure, 75% of them still have employment income, but a staggering 89% have income from investments. Nearly half own their own businesses. Over 40% get equity compensation. You see, the paycheck is just one piece of a much, much larger, more robust financial machine. They never, ever put all their eggs in one basket.
And this isn't just some lifestyle preference, it's a core survival strategy. And the contrast here is just brilliant. 80% of millionaires say that having multiple streams of income reduces their financial worries. They recover 40% faster from recessions because if one stream dries up, the others kick in. And meanwhile, 95% of the poor are still clinging to that single thread we talked about. It's like two groups living in completely different financial universes.
In this way of thinking, it extends to how they hold their wealth. For the middle class, what's the largest asset? Usually it's their primary home, an asset that's liquid and actually costs money every month. For the top 1%, their portfolio is dominated by financial assets, stocks, mutual funds, private business equity. Assets that are designed to generate income and grow in value. One group's wealth is passive and costly. The other's is active and productive. Now, this whole architecture of resilience is held up by sophisticated financial tools that are almost completely unknown to the average person. These tools allow the wealthy to have their own safety net, one that's totally independent of any employer. They can literally create their own liquidity on demand. This is the critical question. Think about it. If you need $100,000 for a down payment or a great business opportunity, what do? You sell your assets, right? Which triggers capital gains taxes, and it permanently takes that money out of the market. Well, the wealthy, they do something else entirely. They access the value of their assets without ever selling them. They use a tool called a securities-backed line of credit, or an SBLOC. It's basically a line of credit that's secured by their portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. In a sense, they're using their wealth-generating machine as collateral to get cash at really low interest rates. They've created their own private personal bank. And the way it works is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You hold your portfolio, you open a line of credit against it, you draw cash only when you need it, and you only pay interest on what you've drawn. And here's the crucial part. Your portfolio stays invested in the market, continuing to work for you, potentially growing at a rate that's even higher than the interest on your loan. The advantages here are just immense. First off, it's incredibly tax efficient. Borrowing money isn't a taxable event, so you completely avoid capital gains. Second, you keep your position in the market, so you benefit from all the future growth and dividends. It's fast, it's flexible, and the interest rates are usually super low because the loan is secured. This is how the rich stay rich and get richer. Now, let's be real. This strategy is not without risk. If the market value of your portfolio drops in a big way, your lender can issue what's called a maintenance call, and they'll demand you add more collateral or pay down the loan. This is precisely why this tool is used by people who have already built a strong, diversified asset base. It is a tool for the resilient, not a shortcut for the unprepared. You have to build the foundation first. So, we've seen the two realities, haven't we? The psychological cage of the single-income employee and the resilient architecture of the diversified owner. But these aren't just two different financial strategies. They are two profoundly different ways of living. And that brings the choice directly to you. On one path, you're walking the tightrope. You live with that constant low-grade stress of dependency, knowing your entire world could be turned upside down by a single email. Your fate is literally in someone else's hands. But on the other path, you become the architect. You build a system of resilience, stream by stream, asset by asset. You don't avoid risk, but you control your own destiny. The choice is yours. You have now been shown the unspoken rules. You can't unsee them. You now understand the psychological traps that were set for you, and you've seen the financial tools used by those who have already escaped. So the question is no longer what to do, it's whether you have the courage to do it. If you are ready to finally see reality as it truly is, then prove it. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, because you cannot afford to miss a single one of these truths. Like this explainer to signal your commitment, and then comment below with just 4 words: I am an architect. Join the community of people who choose to see. The choice is yours. Make it.